Imagine if stepping out of your comfort zone was the key to unlocking your full potential. In this audiobook, you'll discover how embracing change and pushing past your limits can transform your life. The journey to your best self starts here. Are you ready? Introduction. Have you ever felt stuck, like you're going through the motions but not truly living up to your potential? That feeling is your comfort zone, a place where everything feels familiar but nothing is growing. What if I told you that everything you've ever wanted is just outside of that zone? That every dream, every success, every breakthrough you've been waiting for is waiting for you once you dare to step beyond the limits you've set for yourself? In this audiobook, we're going to shatter that comfortable bubble and push you into a space of growth, transformation, and possibility. You can have more joy, more fulfillment, more success, but you've got to leave behind what's safe and dive into the unknown. And don't worry, you won't be alone. We're going to break it down together, step by step. By the end of this journey, you'll not only understand why stepping out of your comfort zone is the best decision you could ever make, but you'll have the tools to make it happen. From shifting your mindset to turning fear into your ally, you'll learn how to embrace discomfort as the catalyst for the most powerful change you've ever experienced. Ready to unlock your hidden potential and start living the life you were meant to lead? The world outside your comfort zone is waiting. Let's take that first step together. It's time to unlock your true power. Let's get started. Certainly. Here's part 1 of the audiobook based on the outline you provided. The tone is designed to be human, engaging, and trust-building, while sticking closely to the structure and purpose of Chapter 1, The Psychology of the Comfort Zone. Chapter 1, The Psychology of the Comfort Zone. Let me ask you something. How many times have you found yourself thinking, "This is just the way things are," or "I'll change tomorrow"? If you're being honest, the answer might be a lot. We all fall into patterns. We get comfortable. It's human nature. But here's the catch. Staying in that comfort zone, while it feels safe, can be the biggest roadblock standing in the way of the life you truly want to live. In fact, it could be the very thing that's holding you back from discovering the potential within you. I know this because I've been there. We all have. At some point, we all get trapped in the familiar routine of life, where things feel predictable, comfortable, and easy. But here's the thing. Easy isn't always better. And just because something feels familiar doesn't mean it's the best thing for your growth. This chapter is about understanding why we fall into that trap, how we get stuck there, and why it's so hard to break free. Most importantly, we'll explore the science and psychology behind the comfort zone and uncover how you can begin to step outside of it, even if it feels terrifying at first. Because trust me, once you understand the why and the how of breaking free, the what becomes a lot easier to navigate. The comfort zone, what it really means. Let's start by breaking it down. The comfort zone isn't some mythical place where unicorns live and everything is perfect. It's actually a psychological state, one that feels safe, familiar, and free from anxiety. It's a zone where we feel in control of our environment, our decisions, and our actions. It's like being wrapped in a warm blanket where everything feels predictable and nothing is too challenging. But while it sounds cozy, it's not all it's cracked up to be. See, the comfort zone has a sneaky little way of keeping us stuck in place. We mistake comfort for progress, and we start to believe that staying in our little bubble is somehow good for us. But here's the thing. True growth doesn't happen in a bubble. It happens when we stretch beyond our limits, when we push against the boundaries we've set for ourselves. And that can't happen when we're stuck in our comfort zone. This is exactly why it's so easy to stay there. It feels good. It feels safe. You don't have to worry about rejection. failure, or the fear of the unknown when you stay within your comfort zone. But while safety feels nice in the moment, it doesn't lead to the breakthroughs that create real change. It keeps you stagnant, preventing you from discovering the true potential you've been holding back. And without realizing it, your comfort zone can become your greatest enemy. Why we stay in our comfort zones. Now that we understand what the comfort zone is, let's dig deeper into why we have such a hard time stepping outside of it. There are several psychological reasons for this, and you've probably experienced them firsthand. First off, there's fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. It's easy to stay in a place where everything is familiar and predictable because the unknown can feel like a dangerous, uncontrollable beast lurking in the shadows. But here's the kicker. That fear, while real, is often exaggerated in our minds. Most of the time, we're afraid of things that haven't even happened yet. We fear the potential for failure, but we rarely stop to think about the potential for success. And that's where growth lies, in the courage to face the fear head-on. Then there's the comfort of habit. Humans are creatures of habit. The brain loves routine because it conserves energy. If something feels familiar, the brain doesn't have to work hard to process it. That's why so many of us find it hard to make changes. Our brain is wired to seek efficiency and avoid unnecessary stress. Stepping outside of your comfort zone requires energy and focus, and that can be exhausting. So, we stick with what we know because it's easier. But easy doesn't always mean better, as we've already established. Another big reason we stay in our comfort zones is because of self-doubt. Think about it. When was the last time you wanted to do something big? Something that required you to step up and be vulnerable. But you stopped yourself because you doubted your ability to succeed. If you're like most people, this happens more often than you'd like to admit. Self-doubt keeps us small. It convinces us that we're not ready, not capable, or not worthy of success. And so, we stay comfortable, where the risk is low and the reward feels certain, even if that certainty comes with a price. The danger of staying comfortable. You might be wondering, if staying in the comfort zone feels safe and familiar, why should we ever leave? That's a fair question. It's natural to seek safety, and there's nothing wrong with wanting a peaceful, secure life. But here's the truth. Growth doesn't happen in a safe space. It happens when you're willing to face discomfort, challenge yourself, and embrace the unknown. When we stay in our comfort zones, we stop growing. We stop learning. We stop evolving. The world around us is constantly changing. Technology, society, culture, even our relationships. But if we remain in our comfort zones, we're essentially choosing to live in the past. We're refusing to adapt to the changing world, and in doing so, we're holding ourselves back from the life we're capable of living. Staying in your comfort zone might feel good in the short term, but over time, it leads to stagnation. You'll look around one day and realize that you've missed out on opportunities, growth, and experiences that could have changed your life. And that's a hard pill to swallow. How stepping outside your comfort zone can change your life. But here's the good news. The discomfort you feel when stepping outside of your comfort zone? It's actually the key to unlocking your hidden potential. When you push yourself into the unknown, you discover new capabilities that you never knew existed. You learn to adapt, to take risks, and to thrive in situations that once felt impossible. Let me share an example. Think about someone who's never been comfortable speaking in public. The idea of standing in front of a crowd terrifies them. But one day, they decide to push through that fear and give a presentation. At first, it's uncomfortable. Their hands might shake, their voice might quiver, and their heart races in their chest. But as they keep going, something amazing happens. They get better. They gain confidence. They start to see that public speaking doesn't have to be terrifying, and they begin to enjoy it. What started as a source of anxiety turns into a strength. And that's what happens when we push past our comfort zones. We grow into the person we were meant to be. As you begin to understand the psychology of the comfort zone, the next step is realizing that staying stuck there is a choice, one that you can change at any time. Recognizing the reasons behind why we stay in the comfort zone gives us the power to break free from it. And once you step outside, you'll start to see just how much more you're capable of. You'll begin to unlock your hidden potential, and trust me, it's worth every ounce of effort. In the next chapter, we'll dive into how to recognize your limits and take your first steps toward change. But for now, take a moment to reflect on your own comfort zone. What areas of your life feel too comfortable? And what might happen if you dared to step outside of them? The journey to unlocking your hidden potential begins with that first brave step. Let's take it together. Chapter 2. Recognizing your limits. How to see the invisible boundaries holding you back. Let's pause for a moment. Imagine you're standing in front of a vast field. The grass is tall, the sky is open, and there's endless potential for exploration ahead. But here's the thing. You can't move forward, not because the field is blocked, but because there's an invisible wall around you. You can see it, but you can't touch it. It's like it's part of you, but also not. You're free to move, but only within this little confined space. Does that sound familiar? The invisible walls we create around ourselves are often the most difficult to spot because we don't realize they're even there. These walls are built from limiting beliefs, fears, and habits that we have accumulated over time. They might not be physical barriers, but they feel just as real as anything you could touch. And these boundaries, they hold us back from achieving the very things we're capable of. Whether it's growing in our careers, forging stronger relationships, or simply finding more joy in life. In this chapter, we'll uncover those hidden boundaries, the limits that we unknowingly impose on ourselves. And here's the good news. Once you recognize them, you can break through them. The first step toward unlocking your hidden potential is to become aware of what's holding you back. Only then can you take meaningful action to push those boundaries and explore all the vast possibilities outside your comfort zone. The power of self-awareness, identifying your limits. Before we dive into breaking through these invisible walls, we need to first understand what they are and where they've come from. These limits are often formed by years of experience, some good, some bad. As children, we're like sponges, absorbing everything around us. If we were told we weren't good enough, or if we failed at something and were criticized, those experiences create boundaries within us. Over time, we begin to internalize these beliefs. They shape how we see ourselves, how we see others, and how we interact with the world. But here's the hard truth. A lot of the time, these boundaries are self-imposed. We don't even realize we're living by them. These invisible limits can manifest in many ways. Perhaps you've heard yourself say things like, "I'm just not good at that," or "That's not for me." Maybe you've convinced yourself that you're too old, too young, too shy, or too anything to pursue something new. These thoughts aren't the truth. They're just the boundaries your mind has created to keep you in a place where it feels comfortable, even if it's not serving you. The first step in breaking these invisible walls is developing self-awareness. Start by paying attention to your internal dialogue. When you think about trying something new, do you feel a sense of excitement? Or do you immediately shut it down with doubt and fear? Those moments of resistance are often signs of an internal limit. They're like red flags that point to the areas where growth is possible, but you're choosing not to pursue it. Let's do a quick exercise. Right now, pause and think about the last time you wanted to do something, but held back. Maybe it was applying for a new job, starting a fitness routine, speaking up in a meeting, or even taking a trip somewhere new. Think about why you didn't take that step. Was it fear of failure? Fear of judgment? Or did you feel like it was simply beyond your reach? Whatever it was, write it down or reflect on it for a few minutes. By identifying these thoughts, you begin to take back control of your mind. Instead of letting those thoughts limit your potential, you're actively recognizing them for what they are: barriers that you can choose to dismantle. The lies we tell ourselves. Unmasking. Limiting beliefs. At the heart of many of these invisible walls are the limiting beliefs we hold. These are the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, what we can do, and what we deserve. I'm not smart enough. I'm not capable of that. I don't have the resources or the time. These beliefs can feel very real, like they're part of our identity. But the truth is, they're nothing more than stories we've accepted as fact. And like any good story, they can be rewritten. Think back to the first time you told yourself you weren't capable of doing something. Maybe you were a child trying to learn a new skill, and someone told you that you weren't good enough. Maybe it was a teacher, a parent, or even a friend. Maybe you were laughed at or ignored, or just flat out told you'd never succeed. Over time, this experience became embedded in your mind as a fact. And then you started telling yourself that story over and over. I can't do this. I'm just not good enough. But what if that story wasn't true? What if it was simply a belief that you've held on to for far too long? And what if you could start telling yourself a new story? One where you are capable, where you have the ability to break through those boundaries and reach new heights. To begin dismantling these limiting beliefs, start by questioning their validity. Ask yourself, is this belief really true? Or is it something I've accepted without challenge? Often, when you really dig into it, you'll find that these beliefs are rooted in fear or past experiences that no longer apply. And once you realize that, you can start to rewrite the narrative. You are not defined by your past, and you are not limited by old beliefs. You are capable of much more than you think. The comfort of mediocrity. Why we choose to settle. Here's where things get a little uncomfortable. A lot of the time, we settle for less because it's comfortable. We choose to stay within those invisible walls because, frankly, it's easier. It's safer. Even if we're not thrilled with the current situation, we know it. We understand it. And that familiarity makes it feel like less of a risk. Settling for mediocrity is a silent killer of potential. It's the idea that you can do just enough to get by, but never really push for more. It's the belief that you're not worthy of greatness, that you're just fine where you are, and that striving for something better is unnecessary or unrealistic. But this isn't just a choice for complacency. It's a choice for conformity. It's choosing to live in the gray zone where nothing stands out and nothing truly challenges you. But deep down, you know you're capable of so much more. You know there's a fire within you that hasn't been fully lit. Maybe you've been quiet about it for years, pushing it down because it felt too big, too risky, or too impossible. But here's the thing, that fire won't go out. It'll continue to flicker and burn inside of you, waiting for the moment when you finally decide to set it free. So how do you break free from the comfort of mediocrity? Start by admitting that you're settling. Acknowledge that you've been hiding behind your limitations and that it's time to step out of your comfort zone. Look around you. How many areas of your life are you merely getting by? How many dreams have you shelved because it felt easier to let them fade away? Challenge yourself to ask, what if I pushed harder? What if I believed I could actually achieve more? The first step to breaking through, small wins, lead to big change. Recognizing your limits is a powerful first step, but it doesn't end there. The real change happens when you take the first steps to break through those limits, and it doesn't have to be a giant leap. In fact, the best way to shatter your self-imposed boundaries is by starting with small, manageable steps. One of the most effective ways to break through these limits is to set small goals that challenge your comfort zone. just enough to push you forward without overwhelming you. These are the micro challenges that, when added up, create massive change. For instance, if you're afraid of public speaking, start by speaking in front of a small group of friends or family. If you've been putting off a career change, take the first step by researching opportunities or talking to someone in that field. The idea is to start taking action, no matter how small. Every little win will help you build momentum, and before you know it, you'll find yourself smashing through walls you once thought were immovable. As we wrap up this chapter, I want you to reflect on the limits that are holding you back. What invisible walls have you built around yourself? And more importantly, how are you going to start breaking them down? The key to unlocking your hidden potential lies in recognizing those barriers and deciding that you are no longer willing to live within them. In the next chapter, we'll explore the process of overcoming fear, the fear that often keeps us from even acknowledging these limits in the first place. But for now, take a moment to embrace the idea that your limits are not permanent. They are just beliefs, and beliefs can be changed. The walls may seem high, but they can be scaled. And once you do, the world on the other side is waiting for you. Are you ready to step through? Chapter 3: Embracing Fear, the Key to Unlocking Your Potential. Introduction: Why fear is your greatest ally, not your enemy. Let's talk about fear for a moment. No, not the kind of fear that keeps you safe from danger. The kind that keeps you from stepping outside your comfort zone, from taking risks, from pursuing the life you truly want. The kind of fear that whispers in your ear, telling you that you're not good enough, that failure is waiting for you just around the corner, that you're destined to fall flat on your face if you even try. Sound familiar? I get it. Fear can be paralyzing. It can feel like a heavy weight, pressing down on your chest, stopping you from even moving forward. But here's something I want you to understand. Fear is not your enemy. In fact, fear is often the very thing that signals you're on the edge of something big, something transformational. Fear is the signal that growth is happening, that you're about to stretch yourself in ways you haven't before. And rather than running from it, you can learn to embrace it, using it as a stepping stone to unlock your full potential. In this chapter, we're going to explore why fear holds so much power over us, how it works against our goals and dreams, and most importantly, how you can start seeing fear as a tool for growth rather than something to avoid at all costs. You might not be able to eliminate fear completely, and honestly, I don't think that's the goal. But you can absolutely learn to move through it, work with it, and even use it to fuel your success. So, if you're ready to face fear head-on and transform it into your ally, let's dive in. The nature of fear: understanding the science behind it. Fear is a basic human instinct. It's there to keep us safe, to protect us from harm. This survival mechanism, deeply rooted in our evolutionary biology, has kept our ancestors alive for centuries. When faced with danger, whether it's a wild animal, a natural disaster, or a life-threatening situation, our bodies react instinctively. Our heart rate spikes, our muscles tense, and we're flooded with adrenaline, all preparing us to fight, flee, or freeze. In those moments, fear is incredibly useful. It's a warning system that tells us something is wrong, and we need to respond. But here's the thing. The majority of the fears we experience today are not life-threatening. They're psychological. We're afraid of rejection, failure, judgment, uncertainty, things that, while uncomfortable, won't actually harm us physically. And yet, our brains often react to these fears in the same way they would if we were in immediate danger. Our fight or flight response kicks in, and suddenly we're overwhelmed with anxiety, doubt, and stress, even when there's no real threat. The issue here is that our brains haven't evolved at the same pace as our society. The world we live in today is very different from the world our ancestors faced. but our brain still reacts the same way to stressors, even if the threat is not physical. So, instead of being able to logically evaluate a situation, we get caught up in our automatic fear responses. And this fear can prevent us from making decisions, trying new things, and taking the kind of risks that lead to growth and success. So, understanding the nature of fear, recognizing that it's not always a sign of imminent danger, but often just a psychological response, is the first step in overcoming it. Fear is simply a signal that you're about to do something new, something that challenges you. And rather than running away from it, you can learn to lean into it. Fear as a signal for growth. Why fear means you're on the right path. Think about the last time you felt afraid of something new. Maybe it was starting a new job, speaking in public, moving to a new city, or even making a big decision in your personal life. What happened right before you took that leap? Did you feel a rush of excitement? Or did fear creep in? Chances are, fear was present, and that's completely normal. In fact, it's a good sign. It means you're stepping into uncharted territory, pushing beyond your comfort zone, and challenging yourself in ways that you've never done before. Here's the key. Fear in this context isn't something to avoid. It's actually a signal that you're on the right path. Every time you feel fear before taking a big step, it means you're about to experience growth. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you face something that scares you, when you challenge yourself to move beyond what you thought was possible. Fear means that you're stretching your limits, that you're moving into new territory. And that's where the magic happens. Think of some of the most successful people in the world, the athletes, entrepreneurs, creatives, and leaders who inspire millions. They've all experienced fear, but instead of running from it, they've learned to use it as fuel. They understand that fear is part of the journey, not something to be feared, and they've come to realize that the most rewarding experiences in life are often the ones that make us the most nervous. They're the ones that push us to grow, to evolve, and to become the best versions of ourselves. So when you feel fear, don't shy away from it. Embrace it. Ask yourself, what is this fear telling me? What does it mean that I'm feeling this right now? In most cases, it means you're on the verge of something amazing. The only way to truly unlock your potential is to step into that fear, face it head on, and use it as the fuel to propel you forward. The fear of failure, reframing the way you see setbacks. One of the biggest fears we face is the fear of failure. We've all been there. The dread of making a mistake, of not measuring up, of disappointing others or ourselves. It's a paralyzing fear, one that keeps us from even trying. We worry about what will happen if things don't go as planned. What will people think? What will we think of ourselves? But here's the secret. Failure is not the end of the world. In fact, failure is often the beginning of success. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out. Every successful person you've ever admired has failed. And I don't just mean once or twice. They've failed many times. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is their ability to learn from failure, to get back up after they've fallen, and to keep moving forward despite the setbacks. Failure is not a reflection of your worth. It doesn't mean you're incapable or unqualified. It simply means that you tried something new and didn't succeed the first time. But that doesn't mean the goal is out of reach. Failure is a lesson, a stepping stone towards success. It's an opportunity to reevaluate, adjust, and try again with more wisdom and experience than you had before. So, instead of fearing failure, start seeing it as a natural part of the process. Failure is not a signal that you're not cut out for success. It's actually a sign that you're pushing yourself and learning. Each failure is a building block, a piece of the puzzle that will eventually lead you to the outcome you desire. Fear of judgment. Letting go of what others think. Another fear that often holds us back is the fear of judgment. We worry about what others will think of us, whether it's our friends, family, colleagues, or even strangers. We worry that they'll think we're foolish, unqualified, or just plain crazy for taking the risks we do. But here's the truth. The people who judge you are not living your life. You are. And their opinions are based on their own fears, insecurities, and experiences. When you let the fear of judgment control your actions, you're allowing other people's opinions to shape your reality. But the truth is, you'll never be able to please everyone, and you shouldn't try. Your journey is yours alone. You don't need anyone's approval to take risks, follow your dreams, and step outside of your comfort zone. What's more, the people who truly care about you will support your growth, even if it makes them uncomfortable. They'll admire your courage to pursue what feels right for you, even if it challenges their own beliefs or comfort levels. So, while judgment is inevitable, it's not something you need to fear. The only opinion that matters in this process is your own. So, here's the challenge. The next time fear shows up in your life, and it will, don't run from it. Don't try to push it away or ignore it. Lean into it. Understand that it's a sign of growth, that it means you're stepping into new territory, and that you are on the path to unlocking your potential. Fear is not something to fear. It's something to embrace. It's a powerful tool that, when understood and harnessed, can propel you toward the success and fulfillment you've always wanted. The key is to move forward with courage, knowing that every step you take outside your comfort zone is a victory. Fear isn't the enemy. It's the ally that's showing you exactly where to go next. As we move into the next chapter, we'll explore the strategies you can use to manage and work with fear so that it no longer holds you back, but instead pushes you toward your highest potential. Are you ready to face your fear and unlock your true power? Let's do it together. Chapter 4: Stepping into the Unknown. Why the biggest opportunities are outside your comfort zone. The unknown. It's one of the most powerful sources of fear, yet also one of the most potent catalysts for growth. Think back to a time when you made a decision that was both exciting and terrifying. Maybe it was choosing to move to a new city, change careers, or pursue a passion you had been putting off for years. In that moment, everything was uncertain. You didn't know what would happen. You couldn't predict how things would turn out. Yet, you still took that leap. And when you did, you probably felt a rush of exhilaration, the kind that only comes when you step into the unknown. Past the walls you've built for yourself, the comfort zone feels safe. It feels familiar. But familiarity is often a trap. It's a cycle that keeps you stuck in patterns that may feel secure, but are holding you back from unlocking your potential. If you always stay in the comfort zone, you'll never know what you're truly capable of. The real magic, the real opportunity for transformation, exists in the places you've never been, in the decisions that make you nervous, in the risks that push you to grow. In this chapter, we'll explore why stepping into the unknown is not just a challenge, but an opportunity. We'll break down why the biggest rewards lie outside your comfort zone, and how you can shift your perspective to see the unknown not as something to fear, but as the fertile ground for your personal evolution. So, let's dive into what lies beyond the comfort zone, and why embracing the unknown could be the best decision you've ever made. The comfort zone fallacy, the illusion of safety. You've heard it before. Stay in your comfort zone, play it safe. We've all been told to stick with what we know, to avoid risks, and to keep things predictable. It's the safe path. But here's the thing. Staying in your comfort zone isn't as safe as it seems. In fact, it's one of the biggest myths we hold on to that keeps us stuck. The comfort zone feels secure, yes, but that security comes at a cost. When you stay in your comfort zone, you're not growing. You're not challenging yourself to expand. You're not exploring new ideas, meeting new people, or discovering new strengths within yourself. you're simply maintaining the status quo. And more often than not, the status quo can be suffocating. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. How many areas of your life feel stagnant or predictable? Is there something you've been putting off because it feels too uncertain? Maybe you're afraid of what might happen if you venture outside the comfort zone. But the truth is, the only true risk is staying stuck. The only real danger lies in failing to evolve, to reach for something greater, and to challenge yourself to step beyond the walls you've built. You see, the comfort zone isn't as comfortable as it appears. It's more like a prison, one where we lock ourselves in, convinced that it's safer to stay where we are. But in reality, growth and opportunity always exist beyond those walls. Once you recognize that your comfort zone is an illusion, a temporary state that only serves to limit you, you can begin to embrace the possibility of what lies outside of it. The power of the unknown. Why it's where growth happens now. Let's shift gears. What if we told you that the unknown isn't something to fear, but to embrace? That the unknown is where all the magic happens? That's because beyond your comfort zone lies the potential for transformation. When you step into uncertainty, you're giving yourself the chance to discover new talents, learn new skills, and experience new aspects of yourself that you didn't even know existed. Consider this. Some of the most successful and fulfilled people in the world got to where they are because they took risks, because they didn't shy away from the unknown. It's in that unfamiliar space that innovation thrives, that creativity flows, and that breakthroughs happen. Think of the entrepreneurs who created entire industries, the artists who revolutionized their mediums, or the athletes who pushed their bodies beyond perceived limits. They weren't content with staying in the predictable. They didn't settle for the comfort of the known. Instead, they embraced the discomfort of the unknown. And that's where their true potential was unlocked. The unknown offers you a blank slate, a chance to start fresh, to write your own story without the constraints of past experiences or limitations. It's where you'll find the opportunities you've been waiting for, the job of your dreams, the relationships that change your life, the creative ideas that spark innovation. None of these things are waiting for you in the comfort zone. They are waiting for you on the other side of fear, on the other side of uncertainty. So, how do you begin stepping into the unknown? It's simple. You start by seeing it as an opportunity, not a threat. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" Zrania, ask yourself, "What if this is exactly what I need to take my life to the next level?" Reframe your thoughts around uncertainty and see it for what it truly is, an exciting challenge, a place for you to explore and grow. The first step, small risks, lead to big rewards. Now, let's talk about how to actually take that first step. Stepping into the unknown can feel overwhelming, especially when you've been playing it safe for so long. The idea of taking a huge leap can seem daunting, but the good news is, you don't have to make one giant jump. Instead, you can begin by taking small risks, manageable challenges that gradually push you outside your comfort zone without causing too much anxiety. These small risks are crucial because they build your confidence, one step at a time. Every time you take a little risk, you build more courage to take the next one. These small challenges add up, and over time, they help you develop a mindset that is comfortable with uncertainty, that sees the unknown as an exciting adventure rather than a terrifying abyss. For example, let's say you've always wanted to start your own business, but have been paralyzed by the fear of failure and the unknown. Instead of diving straight into the deep end, you could begin with a small risk, perhaps by launching a side project or offering your skills as a freelancer. This way, you're still stepping into the unknown, but you're doing it in a controlled, manageable way. As you gain experience and confidence, you can begin to expand, taking bigger risks and seizing bigger opportunities. The key is to start small, but to start. Each risk you take helps you grow stronger, more capable, and more comfortable with uncertainty. And before you know it, the unknown will no longer feel like a threat. It will become a natural part of your journey. The art of letting go, releasing control in the unknown. One of the biggest challenges in stepping into the unknown is letting go of control. As humans, we like to know what's coming next. We want to plan, organize, and predict every outcome. But here's the thing. You can't control everything. In fact, trying to control every detail often holds us back from experiencing the full range of possibilities that life has to offer. Letting go of control doesn't mean being reckless or abandoning all plans. It simply means surrendering to the idea that not everything will go according to plan, and that's okay. Life is messy, it's unpredictable, and sometimes the most unexpected detours lead to the greatest rewards. When you let go of the need to control every outcome, you create space for new experiences, new people, and new opportunities to enter your life. You free yourself from the burden of perfectionism and open yourself up to the flow of life. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges or setbacks, but it does mean you'll be more adaptable, more resilient, and more willing to embrace the unknown as part of your growth process. As we wrap up this chapter, I want you to remember this. The unknown is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It's a place where growth, creativity, and opportunity reside. Every time you step into the unknown, you open yourself up to the possibility of becoming something greater than you are today. The key is to take that first step. It doesn't have to be a giant leap. Just start with one small action that pushes you out of your comfort zone. As you do, you'll begin to see the unknown not as a threat, but as a vast expanse of untapped potential. The adventure of the unknown is waiting for you. Will you take the leap? In the next chapter, we'll dive into the importance of resilience, how to stay strong and keep moving forward when the unknown gets tough. But for now, take a moment to reflect on the opportunities that lie ahead of you, beyond the comfort zone. The world is waiting for you to step into it. Chapter 5. Resilience, the key to bouncing back stronger. Introduction. Why resilience is your superpower. I want you to think back to a time when things didn't go according to plan. Maybe it was a career setback, a personal disappointment, or an unexpected challenge that knocked you down. In that moment, you might have felt defeated. The road ahead seemed uncertain and perhaps even overwhelming. But here's the good news. In those moments, you have the potential to become stronger, more capable, and more resilient than ever before. The key is to bounce back. You see, resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It's about how you respond when life throws challenges your way. It's about finding the strength to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. Even when everything feels like it's working against you. In this chapter, we'll dive into the concept of resilience and why it is one of the most important traits you can develop on your journey toward unlocking your hidden potential. Resilience is your ability to face adversity, navigate setbacks, and emerge from tough situations with more wisdom, strength, and determination than you had before. The truth is, life will always present obstacles, but resilience is the quality that allows you to rise above them. Let's explore how you can cultivate resilience and use it to keep moving toward your goals, no matter how many times you fall. The power of a growth mindset, viewing setbacks as opportunities. The first step in developing resilience is shifting your mindset. You've likely heard the term growth mindset before, but let's really dig into what it means. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and potential are not fixed. They can be developed over time through effort, learning, and perseverance. This is in contrast to a fixed mindset, which assumes that your abilities are static, that you're either good at something or you're not, and that failure means you lack the necessary talent. When it comes to resilience, having a growth mindset is absolutely crucial. Why? Because a growth mindset allows you to view setbacks not as permanent failures, but as opportunities for growth. It helps you understand that mistakes and challenges are simply part of the learning process. Every time you face a setback, it's not a sign that you're not good enough or that you'll never succeed. It's a sign that you've encountered a learning moment, a chance to evolve. Think about a time when you faced a significant challenge. Did you beat yourself up about it, telling yourself that you just weren't cut out for success? Or did you take a step back and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What could I do differently next time? Developing resilience starts with this very mindset shift. When you adopt a growth mindset, you stop fearing failure and instead, you start to embrace it. You understand that failure isn't the end of the story. It's just a chapter in the process of becoming the person you're meant to be. Building mental toughness, strengthening your inner resolve. Resilience doesn't just happen overnight. It's a skill that must be cultivated through deliberate practice. And one of the most important components of resilience is mental toughness. Mental toughness is the ability to stay focused, positive, and determined in the face of adversity. It's the strength of mind that allows you to push through discomfort, to continue moving forward when the odds seem stacked against you. Think of mental toughness like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. And just like with physical training, mental toughness grows by challenging yourself, by stepping out of your comfort zone, and by repeatedly facing difficult situations. Each time you overcome a challenge, you reinforce your mental toughness, and the more you strengthen your resolve, the easier it becomes to handle life's difficulties with grace and confidence. But how do you build this mental toughness? It starts with learning how to stay calm in the face of stress. One powerful technique is mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness helps you stay present and grounded when everything around you feels chaotic. It allows you to observe your thoughts and emotions without getting overwhelmed by them. Instead of letting stress control you, you gain the ability to control your response to it. Another key element of mental toughness is self-talk. The way you speak to yourself in moments of adversity can make all the difference. When things go wrong, it's easy to slip into negative self-talk. I'm not good enough. I can't do this, or this is impossible. But resilient individuals don't fall into this trap. They replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations. They remind themselves that setbacks are temporary and that they have the strength to push through. Building mental toughness also means taking care of your physical well-being. Exercise, nutrition, and adequate rest all contribute to your mental resilience. A healthy body supports a healthy mind, and when you feel physically strong, you're more likely to feel mentally tough as well. Embracing the process. Why success is never linear. Here's something I want you to understand. Success is never a straight line. The path to achieving your goals will be full of twists, turns, and detours. There will be times when things don't go as planned, when you feel like giving up, when the finish line seems impossibly far away. But this is where resilience truly comes into play. The people who succeed are not the ones who never face adversity. They are the ones who keep going, even when things get tough. Resilience is about embracing the process, not just focusing on the end goal. It's about appreciating the journey, with all of its ups and downs, and recognizing that every challenge is helping you grow, even if you can't see the full picture right away. Success isn't just about reaching the destination. It's about who you become along the way. It's the lessons you learn, the strength you gain, and the person you evolve into. So, when you encounter a setback or feel like you're not progressing as quickly as you'd like, remember this: every step, even the small ones, is moving you closer to your ultimate goal. It's easy to get frustrated when things aren't going according to plan, but that's when you need to tap into your resilience and remind yourself that setbacks are part of the process. Keep your eyes on the bigger picture and trust that each challenge is bringing you closer to your breakthrough. The role of support. Why you don't have to do it alone. One of the biggest misconceptions about resilience is that it requires you to go through challenges all on your own. People often think that in order to be strong, they have to figure everything out themselves, to handle their struggles without asking for help. But here's the truth. Resilience doesn't mean doing it alone. It means knowing when to lean on others for support. Resilience is strengthened when you have a support system. People who can encourage you, offer advice, and provide a sense of perspective when things get tough. Whether it's friends, family, mentors, or even a therapist, having people who can stand by your side makes a world of difference. It's easy to become overwhelmed when you feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. But when you share your struggles with others, you lighten your load. And often, the support and wisdom you receive can help you see things from a new angle, making it easier to navigate the challenge ahead. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Resilient individuals understand that strength isn't about doing everything alone. It's about knowing when to reach out, when to accept help, and when to lean into the collective strength of others. Resilience is the ability to overcome adversity, to keep moving forward no matter what life throws your way. It's not about being invincible or never experiencing setbacks. It's about how you rise after you fall. With a growth mindset, mental toughness, and the willingness to embrace the process, you can navigate any challenge that comes your way. Remember, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. But you do need to keep going. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to unlocking your true potential. And each time you bounce back from a setback, you grow stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling whatever comes next. In the next chapter, we'll explore how you can cultivate the power of persistence, how to keep going even when the going gets tough. Because the journey to unlocking your full potential requires not just resilience, but the unwavering determination to never give up. But for now, take a deep breath and know that with every challenge you face, you are building the resilience you need to succeed. You've got this. This section on resilience focuses on the importance of mental toughness, developing a growth mindset, and recognizing that setbacks are a natural part of the process. The tone remains supportive and motivational, aiming to instill confidence in the listener while offering actionable steps to strengthen resilience and keep moving forward on their journey to personal growth. Chapter 6. The Power of Persistence. Why never giving up is your secret weapon. Imagine for a moment that you're climbing a mountain. The summit is high, the terrain is rocky, and the air is thin. Along the way, the path gets steeper, and your legs start to feel heavier. There are moments when you want to stop, when the peak seems just too far away. But here's the thing. The only way to reach the top is to keep going. The mountain doesn't get smaller. The challenge doesn't lessen. But every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to that summit. That, my friend, is persistence in action. Persistence is the unshakable determination to continue on, even when the road is tough, the results are delayed, or you feel like giving up. It's the decision to keep pushing forward even when progress feels slow, or when the end goal seems out of reach. Think about all the people who have achieved incredible things: inventors, artists, entrepreneurs, athletes. They all share one key trait. They didn't give up when things got tough. They kept going, step by step, no matter how many obstacles they faced. And this is exactly what you must do if you want to unlock your hidden potential. In this chapter, we'll explore how persistence is the foundation for achieving your goals. Persistence is not just about sheer willpower. It's about cultivating the mindset and strategies that allow you to keep going, even when the journey gets hard. So let's talk about why persistence is such a powerful tool and how you can develop it to fuel your own success. the reality of setbacks, why you should expect challenges. Let's get one thing straight. Success is not a smooth ride. It's a journey filled with bumps, detours, and setbacks. When you begin any new venture, whether it's launching a business, pursuing a dream career, or working on personal growth, it's easy to get excited and motivated at first. But what happens when the novelty fades? What happens when you face your first obstacle, or the results don't come as quickly as you'd hoped? This is where persistence plays a crucial role. The reality is that setbacks are inevitable. They're not signs that you've failed or that you're on the wrong path. Setbacks are a natural part of growth. Think about it. If everything went perfectly with no bumps in the road, would you really learn anything? Would you grow? Probably not. It's the struggles, the moments when things don't go according to plan, that push you to find new solutions, develop new skills, and deepen your understanding of what it takes to succeed. The key is not to let setbacks stop you. Instead of viewing them as obstacles, try to see them as opportunities to learn. Every challenge you encounter is a chance to sharpen your skills, improve your approach, and grow stronger. Persistence isn't about avoiding difficulties. It's about moving forward in spite of them. The most successful people aren't the ones who never face obstacles. They're the ones who keep going, even when things don't go their way. The 1% rule: small improvements lead to big results. One of the most effective ways to develop persistence is by embracing the concept of small, consistent improvements. This is often referred to as the 1% rule. The idea is simple. Rather than trying to make massive, sweeping changes all at once, focus on making tiny improvements every day. A 1% improvement may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, it compounds into massive progress. Let's look at it this way. If you improve by just 1% each day, you'll be 37 times better by the end of the year. But if you take the opposite approach and let yourself decline by 1% each day, you'll be almost completely off track in just a few months. This concept is incredibly powerful because it emphasizes consistency over perfection. Persistence isn't about trying to accomplish everything in one go. It's about showing up every day, making small improvements, and continuing to push forward, no matter how slow the progress seems. This is particularly valuable when things get tough. When you encounter setbacks or challenges, it can be easy to feel discouraged, especially when it seems like you're not making as much progress as you'd like. But if you focus on the 1% improvement, the small wins, the incremental steps, you'll begin to see how persistence is creating momentum. It's the tiny actions that, over time, lead to monumental growth. Incorporating the 1% rule into your daily life is a great way to stay persistent. Whether it's in your career, your fitness goals, or your personal development, ask yourself, what can I improve by 1% today? It could be making a phone call you've been putting off, learning something new, or even simply improving your mindset. These small actions, when done consistently, will add up and eventually lead to the breakthroughs you're looking for. The power of routine: how consistency fuels persistence. If persistence is the fuel that drives you, then routine is the engine that keeps it running. One of the most effective ways to develop persistence is by creating a daily routine that supports your goals. A routine is a series of habits and actions that you commit to doing consistently, no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're feeling tired, unmotivated, or unsure. When you have a routine in place, you show up and do the work anyway. Building a routine that aligns with your goals is a powerful way to build persistence because it removes the need for constant decision-making. When you know exactly what you need to do each day, you eliminate the mental energy required to decide whether or not to take action. In other words, routine removes resistance. It makes it easier to stay persistent, even on the tough days when you might otherwise want to quit. Consider the habits of successful people. They don't leave their progress up to chance. They build daily routines that support their goals, and they stick to them no matter how they're feeling. This might include waking up early, exercising, working on their craft, and setting aside time for reflection and growth. By building a routine, you're essentially programming yourself for success. The consistency of your actions over time is what creates the foundation for persistence. You don't have to overhaul your entire life to create a routine. Start with small, manageable actions that align with your goals. The key is to start and stay consistent. Once the routine becomes second nature, persistence will follow. Perseverance in the face of doubt. How to keep going. When you're feeling discouraged. Let's be honest for a moment. There will be days when you feel discouraged. There will be times when doubt creeps in, and you'll question whether your efforts are even worth it. The road to success is rarely a straight shot, and there will be moments when you feel like you're not making any progress at all. But this is where persistence truly shows its value. When you're in the thick of a challenge and you're feeling discouraged, it's easy to think about giving up. But this is exactly when persistence is most important. If you can push through the feelings of doubt and continue taking action. Even when progress feels slow, you will find that your resilience will pay off in the end. It's in these moments, when you feel like you can't go any further, that you're actually on the verge of a breakthrough. Persistence means continuing to show up even when it's tough. It means refusing to let doubt define your journey. Instead of letting negative thoughts take over, focus on what you can control, your actions. Keep moving forward no matter how small the steps. Trust that every effort you put in is building momentum, even if you can't see the results yet. Persistence is your secret weapon. It's what enables you to continue on the journey even when the road gets rough. It's the key that unlocks the door to success, because success is built on small, consistent actions over time. Every time you show up, even when it feels hard, you're reinforcing your commitment to your goals and your growth. In the next chapter, we'll discuss how to handle failure and setbacks, how to turn them into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. But for now, I want you to remember that persistence is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up every day, doing the work, and trusting the process. Keep moving forward and know that with each step, you are one step closer to unlocking your hidden potential. This section delves into the importance of persistence, highlighting how small, consistent actions can lead to significant long-term results. The narrative is designed to keep the listener motivated and focused on the process, reinforcing that persistence is about progress rather than perfection. It also emphasizes the importance of routine, mental toughness, and continuing to push forward despite doubt. Chapter 7. Embracing Failure, the stepping stone to greater success. Imagine this. You've just faced a major setback. Maybe your project didn't pan out, you missed an important deadline, or you didn't achieve the goal you had set for yourself. The disappointment is palpable, and for a moment, it feels like the world is closing in on you. You start to question your abilities, your decisions, and whether or not you're cut out for success. But here's the truth. Failure isn't the end of the story. It's simply the beginning. In fact, failure is one of the most valuable tools you have on your journey to unlocking your full potential. This might sound counterintuitive. After all, who wants to fail? It feels uncomfortable, it stings, and it can be downright discouraging. But the reality is that failure is an essential part of success. It's how you learn, grow, and ultimately reach your greatest potential. The most successful people in history didn't achieve their greatness by avoiding failure. They achieved it by embracing failure, learning from it, and using it as fuel to push themselves further. In this chapter, we'll explore how to shift your perspective on failure. Instead of viewing it as something to be avoided at all costs, we'll look at how you can embrace it as a critical part of your growth process. Failure is not something to fear. It's something to embrace, understand, and use to propel yourself forward. Let's dive into why failure is not only inevitable but necessary for personal growth and success. Failure is not a reflection of your worth. Let's start by reframing failure in a way that makes it less intimidating. Many of us are conditioned to view failure as a reflection of our worth. When we fail at something, it can feel like we're not good enough, like we're not capable of success. But the truth is that failure doesn't define you. It's simply a moment in time, a piece of information that shows you what didn't work. Think of failure as a learning experience. When something doesn't go according to plan, it's not a sign that you're not worthy of success. It's a sign that there's room for growth, that there's something you can adjust, tweak, or learn from in order to improve. This mindset shift is crucial in developing the resilience and persistence needed to keep going. When you separate your identity from your failures, you allow yourself the freedom to fail without it affecting your self-worth. Failure is simply a part of the process. When you can detach your self-esteem from your successes and failures, you gain the freedom to experiment, try new things, and take risks without fearing the outcome. You'll be more willing to step out of your comfort zone, to embrace new challenges, and to keep trying. Because you know that failure isn't the end, it's just another part of the journey. And each time you fail, you learn something new that brings you closer to the success you're after. Reframing failure from setback to opportunity. One of the most powerful ways to approach failure is by reframing it. Instead of seeing failure as a setback, try viewing it as an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. Every failure presents you with a chance to understand what went wrong and why, so you can adjust your approach for the future. Reframing failure is a mindset shift that allows you to take the emotional sting out of it. Instead of feeling defeated, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Take time to reflect on what didn't work and what you can do differently next time. This reflection process is where the real growth happens. For example, Thomas Edison, the famous inventor of the light bulb, famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison didn't view his failures as defeats. Instead, he saw them as steps toward his ultimate success. This perspective helped him persist and eventually succeed, even when others might have given up. If you adopt this mindset, every failure becomes a stepping stone rather than an obstacle. It's like a treasure hunt. Each failure reveals valuable lessons that bring you closer to your goal. When you fail, you're not moving further away from success. You're getting closer to understanding how to make it happen. Failure is just the feedback you need to adjust your strategy and move forward with greater knowledge and confidence. The fear of failure, why it holds you back, and how to overcome it. Let's be honest, one of the biggest barriers to success is the fear of failure. Fear of failure holds so many people back from taking risks, trying new things, or stepping out of their comfort zones. The thought of failing, of not measuring up, is enough to keep people stuck in place, too afraid to move forward. But here's the thing, the fear of failure is actually more harmful than failure itself. When you let fear dictate your actions, you limit your potential. You hold yourself back from reaching for your goals and pursuing your dreams. Fear of failure keeps you comfortable, but it also keeps you stagnant. It prevents you from growing and evolving into the person you're meant to be. Overcoming the fear of failure requires a mindset shift. Instead of fearing failure, learn to embrace it as part of the process. Understand that it's not a reflection of your worth or your potential. It's simply feedback. Each failure is an opportunity to recalibrate and improve. The more you practice reframing failure and learning from it, the less power fear will have over you. It's also helpful to understand that failure is often exaggerated in our minds. We tend to imagine the worst-case scenario, fearing that failure will lead to irreparable consequences. But the reality is, failure is rarely as catastrophic as we imagine. Most failures are temporary, and they don't define your future success. The more you face your fear and take action despite it, the less control it will have over you. You'll begin to realize that failure is just another part of the journey, and that your growth doesn't stop when you stumble. The role of persistence in overcoming failure. The best way to overcome failure is to keep going. Persistence is your greatest ally when it comes to bouncing back from setbacks. The longer you persist, the more likely you are to succeed. Each time you fail and keep going, you build your resilience, your confidence, and your ability to learn from mistakes. Persistence is the secret sauce that allows you to keep moving forward, even in the face of failure. It's the trait that separates those who give up from those who eventually succeed. But persistence isn't just about mindlessly pushing through. It's about adapting and improving as you go. Every time you fail, you learn something new, and that knowledge fuels your next attempt. For instance, J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, faced numerous rejections before her books were published. She could have given up after the first few no's, but instead she persisted. Her story is a testament to the power of not letting failure stop you. Had she let failure define her, the world would have never known the magic of Harry Potter. If you want to succeed, you have to keep going. Don't let failure stop you in your tracks. Use it as an opportunity to build persistence and to adapt your approach. Each time you rise after a fall, you're not just becoming more resilient, you're becoming more capable of achieving your goals. The power of perspective. How to see failure differently. One of the most transformative things you can do on your journey to success is change the way you view failure. Instead of seeing it as a negative experience, try to see it as a stepping stone to something better. The most successful people in the world are the ones who've learned how to reframe failure as part of the process. They know that without failure, there is no growth. Without failure, there is no progress. The key is to adopt a perspective that allows you to grow from failure rather than being defeated by it. View failure as feedback. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This simple question will help you see failure not as something to avoid, but as something to embrace. It's a natural and necessary part of the journey. When you adopt this mindset, failure becomes less intimidating. It's no longer something that defines you or holds you back. Instead, it's a tool for your growth, a necessary part of the learning process. The more you embrace failure in this way, the less fear it will hold over you. Failure isn't the end of the road. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with opportunities to learn, grow, and improve. The key is to reframe your view of failure, embrace it as part of the journey, and use it to fuel your persistence and resilience. With every setback, you're getting closer to your ultimate goal. And every time you pick yourself back up, you're one step closer to unlocking your hidden potential. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to tap into your creativity and innovation, unlocking even more potential within you. But for now, remember this: failure is not the end. It's the beginning of something greater. Keep going and use each failure as a stepping stone on your path to success. Chapter 8. Unlocking creativity and innovation. Tapping into your inner genius. What if I told you that creativity isn't something reserved for a select few? It's not just for artists, writers, or inventors. Creativity is a universal skill that resides inside everyone. And it's one of the most powerful tools you have in your arsenal for unlocking your hidden potential. Whether you realize it or not, you use creativity every day to solve problems, make decisions, and adapt to new situations. The difference between the people who unlock their full potential and those who don't often comes down to how effectively they harness their creativity. In this chapter, we'll explore how to tap into your creativity, uncover new ways of thinking, and innovate your approach to life's challenges. Creativity isn't just about coming up with big ideas or making art. It's about seeing the world differently, finding novel solutions to problems, and thinking outside the box. Whether you're looking to solve a personal problem, advance in your career, or simply make your life more fulfilling, creativity is the key to unlocking new opportunities. The best part? You don't have to wait for inspiration to strike. Creativity is a muscle, and like any other muscle, it can be developed, nurtured, and strengthened over time. So let's dive into how you can cultivate your creativity and use it to fuel your journey toward your fullest potential. Creativity is about connecting the dots, how new ideas are born. The first thing to understand about creativity is that it's not just about coming up with something entirely new. Most of the world's greatest innovations are the result of connecting existing ideas in new and interesting ways. Think about some of the most groundbreaking ideas throughout history. The invention of the light bulb, the development of the internet, even the way you use your smartphone. These innovations didn't come out of nowhere. They were the result of taking existing knowledge, ideas, and experiences, and making connections that no one had thought of before. So how do you start making these connections in your own life? It starts by expanding your mind and exposing yourself to new experiences and information. Creativity thrives in an environment where new ideas, perspectives, and experiences can mix and collide. By exposing yourself to different fields of knowledge, meeting people from different backgrounds, and stepping outside of your usual routine, you give your brain the material it needs to start making new connections. Creativity often involves making links between seemingly unrelated ideas. When you allow yourself to see things from different angles, you open the door to breakthrough thinking. This is why it's so important to seek out new experiences and learn as much as you can. The more information you have in your mind, the more you'll be able to draw from when you need creative solutions. Every book you read, every person you meet, every challenge you face is an opportunity to collect pieces of the puzzle that will help you unlock your potential. Overcoming creative blocks, how to break through the barriers. If creativity is so powerful, why does it sometimes feel elusive? Why do we sometimes feel blocked or unable to come up with new ideas? This is a common experience, and it's something that everyone faces at some point. Whether it's writer's block, a lack of motivation, or simply feeling stuck in your current situation, creative blocks are a natural part of the process. The key to overcoming them is understanding that creativity isn't always a straight line. Sometimes it's about giving yourself the space to let ideas simmer and letting go of the pressure to come up with the perfect solution right away. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they're trying to be more creative is putting too much pressure on themselves to come up with something amazing. This pressure often leads to frustration and self-doubt, which only makes the creative block worse. Instead, creativity thrives in an environment where you allow yourself to fail, to experiment, and to play with ideas without judgment. The more you let go of the need for perfection, the more you open yourself up to creative breakthroughs. To break through a creative block, it helps to try a few different approaches. Sometimes, simply taking a break or engaging in an activity unrelated to your current challenge can spark new ideas. Other times, working in a different environment or changing your routine can help shift your perspective and get the creative juices flowing. The key is to remain patient with yourself and trust that creativity will return when you give it the space and freedom it needs. The role of play in creativity, how experimenting leads to innovation. One of the most overlooked aspects of creativity is play. When we think about creativity, we often imagine intense concentration, deep thought, or moments of inspiration. But some of the best ideas come from moments of play and experimentation. This is why so many great innovators, from tech giants to artists, emphasize the importance of play in the creative process. play isn't about being frivolous or wasting time. It's about giving yourself the freedom to explore new ideas without the pressure of getting everything right. Think of play as a way to stretch your creative muscles. When you allow yourself to experiment, make mistakes, and try new things without fear of failure, you open up new pathways for creativity to flow. Innovation rarely happens in a structured, rigid environment. It happens when you give yourself permission to think differently, to break the rules, and to step outside of your comfort zone. For example, Google famously encourages its employees to spend 20% of their work time on personal projects that interest them. This freedom to play, explore, and experiment is one of the reasons why Google has been so successful at fostering creativity and innovation. When people are allowed to follow their curiosity and interests, they often stumble upon new ideas and solutions that they wouldn't have discovered otherwise. The next time you feel stuck, try approaching the problem with a playful attitude. Instead of forcing yourself to come up with the perfect answer, allow yourself to experiment and play with different possibilities. You might be surprised by the innovative solutions that emerge. Creativity and risk-taking. Why you have to be willing to fail. At the heart of creativity is risk. Every time you come up with a new idea or try something different, there's an element of risk involved. And if you're not willing to take risks, you'll never unlock your full creative potential. Fear of failure often holds people back from being truly creative, but the truth is that failure is an essential part of the creative process. It's through failing that we learn, adapt, and refine our ideas. In fact, the most successful innovators are often the ones who are willing to fail, and fail often. Thomas Edison, again, is a prime example of this. He didn't invent the light bulb in one go. He made thousands of attempts, many of which were failures, but each failure brought him one step closer to the solution. He viewed failure not as something to be feared, but as a necessary part of the journey. If you want to unlock your creativity, you need to be willing to take risks and fail. Instead of seeing failure as something to avoid, see it as a stepping stone on the path to success. The more risks you take and the more failures you experience, the more likely you are to find the breakthrough you've been searching for. The power of collaboration. How working with others unlocks new ideas. Creativity doesn't just thrive in isolation. It often flourishes in collaboration. Working with others exposes you to different perspectives, ideas, and ways of thinking. When you collaborate, you bring together different strengths and expertise, and you create a space where new ideas can emerge. Some of the world's greatest innovations were the result of collaboration, where people from different backgrounds and disciplines came together to solve a problem or create something new. If you want to tap into your creativity, look for opportunities to collaborate with others. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who think differently than you, and who can bring new insights to the table. Don't be afraid to ask for feedback or brainstorm with others. Often, the best ideas come from collective thinking, where multiple minds are working together to push boundaries and think outside the box. Even if you're not in a collaborative environment, you can still benefit from the insights and perspectives of others. Seek out mentors, join communities, or attend workshops where you can exchange ideas with like-minded individuals. When you surround yourself with creative people, you increase your chances of sparking your own creative breakthroughs. Creativity is not a gift reserved for a lucky few. It's a skill that anyone can develop, nurture, and use to unlock their fullest potential. The key is to embrace creativity as an integral part of your life, to foster an environment where new ideas can flourish, and to be willing to take risks and fail in the process. Creativity is about more than just coming up with great ideas. It's about finding new ways to solve problems, adapting to challenges, and approaching life with an open, innovative mindset. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to take action on the creative ideas and solutions you uncover, and how to move from inspiration to execution. But for now, remember this: creativity is inside you. It's waiting to be tapped into, and once you start harnessing it, you'll unlock a world of new possibilities. The journey to unlocking your potential doesn't stop here. It's just getting started. Chapter 9: Taking Action, Transforming Ideas into Reality. Introduction. Ideas without action are just dreams. You've unlocked your hidden potential. You've gained new insights, discovered ways to embrace failure, tapped into your creativity, and learned how to overcome barriers. But here's the hard truth: none of that matters unless you take action. Ideas, no matter how brilliant, are worthless without the commitment to turn them into reality. The process of unlocking your full potential isn't just about gathering knowledge or envisioning success. It's about doing. The act of transforming your ideas into something tangible is what separates dreamers from achievers. So why do so many people, even those who are motivated and passionate, struggle to take action? It's often because of fear, procrastination, or a lack of clarity. People get stuck in the planning phase, waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. But here's the secret: there is no perfect time, and there is no perfect plan. The only thing that leads to success is consistent, deliberate action. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and that step can happen today, right now, if you make the decision to act. In this chapter, we'll explore how to stop dreaming and start doing. We'll discuss strategies to overcome procrastination, how to build momentum, and the importance of staying committed to the process. Taking action isn't always easy, but it is always necessary. The good news? With the right mindset and tools, you can make consistent progress and turn your ideas into a reality that reflects your potential. Overcoming procrastination. Why we wait and how to stop. Procrastination is a common obstacle that many people face when it comes to taking action. It's a way of avoiding discomfort, fear of failure, or a lack of motivation. But the truth is, procrastination doesn't solve any problems. It only creates more. Every day you delay taking action is another day lost, and another opportunity to get closer to your goals is pushed further away. So why do we procrastinate? At its core, procrastination is driven by a fear of failure, perfectionism, or feeling overwhelmed by the enormity of the task ahead. When faced with a big project or goal, it's easy to feel intimidated. The task feels too large, too complex, or too difficult, and instead of diving in, you put it off. You might tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'm not ready yet." But here's the thing: there is no perfect time to start, and waiting for the right moment will only keep you stuck. The key to overcoming procrastination is breaking down tasks into smaller, manageable steps. When you make a task less overwhelming, you lower the barrier to action. Instead of thinking, "I need to write a book," think, "I'll write 1 page today." Instead of tackling an entire project, focus on the first step, just getting started. One of the most effective ways to break the cycle of procrastination is by setting deadlines, not just for the big tasks, but for the small ones too. Having a clear timeline creates a sense of urgency and helps you stay focused. Once you get moving, momentum starts to build. Action begets more action, and the more you do, the more confident you'll become in your ability to move forward. Building momentum. How to turn small actions into big results. When it comes to taking action, momentum is everything. Have you ever noticed how, once you start working on something, it gets easier the longer you keep going? This is because action builds momentum. The more you do, the more motivated you feel. And the more motivated you feel, the easier it is to take the next step. The trick to building momentum is to start small and keep going. It's tempting to want to make huge leaps, but big changes take time. The key is to keep taking small, consistent actions every day. Those small steps may seem insignificant at first, but over time, they add up to significant progress. 1 page a day becomes a book. 1 step at a time leads you closer to your destination. One effective way to build momentum is by using the 2-minute rule. If a task can be done in 2 minutes or less, do it immediately. This helps you start moving and breaks the inertia that often accompanies procrastination. By taking small actions quickly, you'll create a ripple effect that leads to bigger actions. And as you build momentum, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment that fuels your progress even more. Another key to building momentum is tracking your progress. Whether it's through journaling, using a progress tracker app, or simply noting down your daily tasks, seeing the progress you're making reinforces the habit of taking action. The more you track your efforts and see your growth, the more motivated you'll be to keep going. The importance of consistency. Why small daily actions? Consistency is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. It's easy to get excited about a new project and put in a burst of effort, only to lose steam a few weeks later. But true success comes from showing up every single day, putting in the effort, and taking action, no matter how small. Even on the days when you don't feel like it, consistency is the key to pushing past resistance and achieving long-term success. Think about it this way. Imagine planting a tree. At first, it seems like nothing is happening. You water it, care for it, and tend to it every day, but you don't see much growth. But over time, with consistent effort, the tree begins to sprout, then grow taller, then eventually bear fruit. The same is true for your goals. You might not see immediate results, but that doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Consistency doesn't mean you have to work nonstop every day. It means you show up and make progress every day, even if it's just a little. Small daily actions add up. 1 hour of work every day turns into a month of focused effort. And by the end of the year, you've accomplished something monumental. The key to consistency is building a routine that works for you and committing to it. Whether it's setting aside a certain time each day for your project, creating a habit tracker, or simply holding yourself accountable to a few key actions every day, consistency is the force that will move you from idea to execution. Overcoming fear of failure. Why you have to keep going. Despite setbacks, one of the biggest obstacles to taking action is the fear of failure. The thought of failing can be so paralyzing that it keeps people from even trying. But if you want to unlock your potential, you must push past the fear of failure and take action anyway. The reality is that failure is an inevitable part of the process. The most successful people in the world have failed more times than they can count. They've experienced setbacks, rejections, and mistakes, but they didn't let those failures stop them. They kept going, learning from each failure and improving along the way. To overcome the fear of failure, you must reframe your thinking. Instead of seeing failure as something to avoid, view it as feedback. Every time you fail, you learn something valuable. Every setback is an opportunity to improve your approach. The key is to keep going. Taking action despite the fear of failure builds resilience, strengthens your resolve, and ultimately leads to success. Remember, the greatest risk is not taking action at all. The longer you wait, the more opportunities you lose. The more you put things off, the more you're allowing fear to control your life. So step into action today. Embrace failure as part of the journey and keep moving forward no matter what. The power of focus. How to avoid distractions and stay on track. One of the biggest challenges when taking action is staying focused. In today's world, we are bombarded with distractions. Social media, emails, notifications, and the endless demands of daily life. But focus is one of the most powerful tools for making progress. Without it, you'll find yourself scattered, overwhelmed, and constantly jumping from task to task without ever making significant progress. To stay focused, You need to set clear priorities and eliminate distractions. One effective strategy is to use time blocking, where you dedicate specific periods of time to work on specific tasks. During these blocks of time, remove all distractions, turn off your phone, close unnecessary tabs, and focus solely on the task at hand. The more you practice focusing, the easier it becomes to stay on track and make meaningful progress. Another key to maintaining focus is to break large tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks. This reduces the overwhelm that can come with big projects and gives you a clear path to follow. When you complete a small task, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment, which will motivate you to keep going. Taking action is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's the crucial step that turns dreams into reality. In this chapter, we've explored how to overcome procrastination, build momentum, stay consistent, and take action despite fear and distractions. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. The more you take action, the more you'll see progress, and the closer you'll get to unlocking your full potential. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to stay motivated and committed over the long term, so you can continue to take consistent action toward your goals. But for now, remember this: action is the key. It's the single most important thing you can do to turn your ideas into reality. Take that first step today and keep going, because the journey to your potential starts with action. Chapter 10: Staying Motivated for the Long Haul, Keeping Momentum Alive. Let's face it, staying motivated is tough. In the early stages of a new project or goal, it's easy to feel inspired, driven, and full of energy. But as time passes, that initial enthusiasm often fades, and the work starts to feel like a grind. Motivation seems to dwindle, and suddenly, the spark that got you excited about your dream feels distant. This is the reality of long-term goals. Motivation ebbs and flows, and it's normal to experience moments of doubt, frustration, or fatigue along the way. But the key to unlocking your potential isn't about relying on motivation alone. It's about creating systems and habits that keep you moving forward, even when motivation isn't at its peak. Motivation is important, but it's not the be-all and end-all of success. In this chapter, we'll explore how to sustain motivation over the long haul, how to build resilience to keep going when things get tough, and how to keep your drive alive even after the initial excitement fades. The real work of unlocking your potential happens when you keep going, day after day, even when it feels like you're not seeing immediate results. The power of purpose: why having a why keeps you going. One of the most effective ways to maintain motivation is to connect deeply with your purpose. When you know why you're doing something, the motivation to keep going becomes more powerful and resilient. Without a strong sense of purpose, it's easy to get discouraged or distracted by setbacks. But when you have a clear understanding of why your goal matters, why it's meaningful to you, the bumps in the road seem less daunting. Take a moment to ask yourself, why does this matter to me? What's the deeper reason behind your goal? Maybe it's about creating a life of freedom, helping others, making an impact, or building something that will leave a lasting legacy. The more you connect with your why, the easier it is to push through the challenges and stay motivated even when progress feels slow. People who stay motivated over the long term are often those who have a clear sense of purpose. They understand the bigger picture, and that understanding helps them stay grounded when the small tasks feel mundane or unexciting. Your why should be your guiding force, your North Star. It's the anchor that keeps you steady when the winds of doubt or frustration try to pull you off course. To connect more deeply with your purpose, take some time to reflect on what truly matters to you. What do you hope to accomplish in the world? What values drive you? The more clear you are about your purpose, the more likely you are to stay motivated and focused on your goals, even when the going gets tough. Building resilience. How to stay strong in the face of setbacks. No journey is without obstacles. Setbacks, challenges, and failures are a natural part of the process, and they often come when you least expect it. Whether it's an unexpected roadblock, a period of self-doubt, or an external challenge that's beyond your control, setbacks can feel discouraging. But here's the thing, it's not the setbacks that define you. It's how you respond to them that matters. The most successful people aren't those who avoid setbacks. They're the ones who develop resilience, the ability to bounce back after facing adversity. Resilience is the key to maintaining momentum, and it's what keeps you going even when the path becomes difficult. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, resilient people view them as opportunities for growth, learning, and improvement. So how can you build resilience? It starts with adopting a mindset that sees challenges as temporary rather than permanent. When you face an obstacle, instead of thinking, "This is too much, I can't do it," shift your thinking to, "This is a challenge, but I can handle it. I can find a solution." Building resilience also involves maintaining a positive attitude and practicing patience. The road to success isn't always a straight line, and setbacks are just detours that can ultimately lead you to a better, more refined version of your goal. Resilience also involves taking care of yourself, physically and emotionally. Rest, recovery, and self-care are crucial for maintaining the energy and motivation needed to stay the course. When you feel depleted, it's harder to stay focused and committed. So make sure to prioritize your health and well-being, and give yourself grace during the challenging moments. Setting micro goals. How small wins lead to big motivation. While long-term goals are important, the real key to maintaining motivation is to celebrate the small wins along the way. Big goals can feel overwhelming, especially when the end seems so far away. That's why breaking down your larger goals into smaller, actionable micro goals is one of the most effective strategies for staying motivated. Micro goals are the small, achievable tasks that you can complete in a short period of time. These small wins give you a sense of accomplishment and help you build momentum. Every time you complete a micro goal, you feel a rush of motivation and progress. These little victories keep your spirit high and keep you moving forward, even when the larger goal feels out of reach. For example, let's say you're working on writing a book. Instead of focusing solely on the end goal of finishing the book, set micro goals like write 500 words today or complete the first chapter by the end of the week. As you tick off these smaller goals, you'll start to build a sense of accomplishment that fuels your progress. This method of breaking things down allows you to celebrate your wins regularly, which reinforces your motivation and keeps you on track toward your ultimate goal. Tracking your progress is another way to keep your motivation high. Whether it's through a habit tracker, a progress journal, or simply checking off completed tasks on a to-do list, the act of seeing your progress visually reinforces the sense of achievement. It reminds you that you're moving forward, even on days when the progress might seem slow. Creating a support system. How others keep you accountable and motivated. Staying motivated is often easier when you have support. Whether it's a mentor, a coach, friends, or family, having people who believe in you and hold you accountable can be a game changer. A strong support system helps you stay motivated when the journey feels tough, and it provides an extra layer of encouragement when self-doubt creeps in. Having someone to check in with regularly, whether for emotional support or practical advice, helps you stay committed to your goals. Accountability partners can provide constructive feedback, celebrate your wins with you, and remind you of your progress when you're feeling discouraged. It's also important to surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you. Join communities or groups that share your passions and goals. The collective energy of like-minded individuals can reignite your own motivation and push you to keep going when you feel like giving up. Whether it's a mastermind group, a support network, or even online communities, engaging with others who are on similar paths helps you stay connected to your purpose and keeps your motivation high. Embracing self-compassion. Why you need to be kind to yourself. Finally, one of the most important factors in maintaining long-term motivation is self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on yourself when you encounter setbacks or don't make as much progress as you'd hoped. But beating yourself up only drains your motivation and makes it harder to move forward. Instead of focusing on your mistakes or shortcomings, practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Understand that setbacks are a part of the journey, and it's okay to have moments of weakness. Self-compassion means accepting yourself as you are, imperfections and all, while still holding space for growth and improvement. When you treat yourself with kindness and patience, you'll find that motivation comes more easily, and you'll be able to bounce back from setbacks faster. Remember, progress is not always linear. There will be times when you feel like you're moving forward and times when you feel like you're stuck. But by staying compassionate with yourself and recognizing that setbacks are just a natural part of the process, you'll be able to maintain a healthy mindset and keep the motivation flowing. The key to unlocking your full potential is consistent action and the ability to keep going even when motivation wanes. By connecting deeply with your purpose, building resilience, setting micro goals, and creating a supportive environment, you can maintain momentum and stay motivated over the long term. Remember that success isn't just about getting excited and taking action once. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and trusting the process. Motivation might not always be there when you need it, but when you've built the right habits, systems, and support structures, you'll find that momentum carries you through